So today was day 7 of the iPad project, and I worked with pre-K and kindergarten this morning. And actually what I noticed this morning in the pre-K was that the iPad wasn't the most interesting thing in the room for the first time. There seemed to be some kind of cooking unit going on, and for many of the students that was more interesting. So although I had planned to work with one of the students who I had already worked with, actually those students were preoccupied. But thankfully there were still several students who wanted to get their hands on the iPad, and so today I chose two boys, Judd, and I started with him. I modeled and introduced some vocabulary with him for just a few minutes, and then actually another boy, Nathan, came over on his own and asked if he could participate as well, and so at that point I just handed the teaching and modeling over to Judd with minimal direction from time to time when they appeared to be stuck. Again, saw mostly what I've seen on other days is that the students are picking up very quickly, they're interested, they're choosing primarily to create content through really the drawing apps. And in the comments section today I'll make sure that I list the apps that we've been using, because we've been focusing on just a handful. One's a memory game, a couple of drawing ones, the video app, and there's one other I'm sure I'm forgetting. At any rate, check the comments. Later I worked in the kindergarten class, and I was able to get one of the students, Colin, who used it for the first time yesterday. I pulled him aside and asked him to choose somebody from his class. He was then the teacher. Again, reviewed a few things quickly, and then had him teach and model for another student, Leela. And it was great to see that they were picking things up very quickly. One thing that was interesting that I noticed today in the kindergarten class was when Colin and Leela were using the letter matching / spelling game, because what I had noticed with the boys in the kindergarten class was they were matching up the letters in essentially a random order, and they weren't really worried about how the word was spelled. But as soon as Leela played the game, she focused, or appeared to be focusing, on the order of the letters, and matching the letters was very easy for her. As soon as she did that, though, Colin then began matching the letters in the order that the word was spelled. And I noticed this right away. Shortly thereafter, I gave them free time to do what they wanted, but periodically I would check in, and they did go back to that game, and I did notice that both of them now seem to be matching the letters in the order that they belong for the spelling. One thing that I plan to do differently next week with the kindergarten students is I think that they're probably ready to start using the iPad in more authentic ways that could be incorporated into their daily routines. And so I'm going to start with their reading center or reading corner. What I'll do is get some CDs from the audiobooks, burn it and put it onto the iPad, and see really if the students, one, can use the iTunes application for the reading center, two, do they prefer to use the iPad rather than a traditional CD player, and maybe try to find out why? And three, is it an effective alternative to, say, a CD player, or is the iPad really just a distraction because it offers so many more things? So that's what I'll be trying to do next week, and I'll keep you posted on how that goes.